can't unsee what you see.
It's happy hour. Okay, we just day drank.
So when we talk about you gambling and having an issue,
this is what we're talking about. Do not buy another JVA warranty until you've looked at the Caddie Workmanship Guarantee Program.
We're kicking ass and taking names, apparently.
Caddie Shack.
you're off and running. What's up, guys? Here we are. We're back.
Welcome back.
Got a squad here. Got a squad. We are. Did we do our last one from here, or did we do it Mexican Oak? Or
I've ran out of. I used to know the number of episodes. So I haven't checked YouTube. That's I don't know. We're not that many deep, but it's 9. I don't know, something like
I
this.
think we're up to like 20 views. Like
no. The last we had the last one we did was for the march.
Spirit of a Hero.
Spirit of a Hero.
Yeah, that's right.
Walk. I guess
was
not
great.
march, but
That's
walk.
Right.
Yeah. That was a great one.
Matt and I went out there and walked.
We did.
That was a good
How
event.
did that go?
Great event.
Made it the whole way?
Had
Whoa.
to.
Yeah. Well, you had a kids game, right?
both
Something like
did.
that.
Kids
Yeah,
soccer.
it was also.
I remember
it's a
now.
Long way to walk.
Long walk.
No, it was good.
But you were there.
We were there.
That's awesome.
It was fun. I'll tell you what. One thing they tell you about doing things is you got to do it consistently, right? And by God, we are inconsistent with these podcasts.
No, it's only been like a week. We took a week off. Wait, listen, we were busy. Life happens.
Life does happen. Which
I was out of town. I was out of town. And,
Yeah.
life happens.
I laugh because, or I'm joking because, we're still obviously learning through how to do this, and we do have a couple guests lined up coming up, which is going to be a lot of fun to, start talking about other things besides air conditioning or warranties or whatever. Although
Restaurants.
I'm just going to shout out: do not buy a JB warranty if you are a contractor. we've gotten off that as we've gotten distracted. I want to come back to that and just make sure everyone knows it's a contractor listening to this.
I think it's in our intro. You don't have to say it.
Is it?
It's the last thing you hear in our intro.
Okay,
But,
I just
yeah.
want that to be the underlying theme of anyone.
We got the sign up there too. Save money, book your demo, Caddie warranty.
Yeah, workmanship guarantee. I don't know what the count is on the contractor. Nick and I were talking about this earlier. I don't know how much money these contractors that have moved over to the DIY workmanship guarantee program is at this point, but it's got to be a lot of money because they're processing some agreements.
Oh, it's a ton. It's a
is,
ton.
yeah.
Well, some of them,
good.
There's the early adopters that are smart that are keeping money in their pocket. But we digress. That is not the point of this. So for today, we want to talk about kind of some of the things that we are doing at Caddie and kind of give an update because I think it's really cool stuff. We've been working really, really hard. Hence why we're not as consistent with the podcast. But first, I want to talk about something at the restaurant. Yeah. So one of our next guests, I think he's coming in Friday. This is not his brand, but he's going to be in here to talk about a tequila brand that he has come up with, Socorro. And he's got a couple other brands underneath that, but really, really cool guy. Can't wait to have him on and kind of talk through his products. But I want to tell you guys something, opening a restaurant, one of the things that you go through with the food and beverage side is what spirits you're going to put in your drinks, what types of food you're going to source, which we're very particular about how we source stuff, and kind of going into on brand with what we're doing there. We found this product that I want to talk about. It's called Weber Ranch, and this product is absolutely awesome. We're in North Texas, right? And this is actually made in Munster, so just northwest of us a little bit, more north. But these guys bought this old distillery. Because it had this gold distiller, or copper old distiller, and it was super cool. And so anyways, I wanted to show you guys this. I want you guys to try this. The reason we went with this, if you can show it to I don't know if the camera can see this, but Weber Ranch, this is the group that was involved with Patron Tequila actually is behind this. In fact, I think that one of the investors that you guys are aware of with Patron is an investor in this as well. So one of the founders of Patron is, you guys know who I'm talking about, probably, Jean-Paul. But I think they're all involved with this. Anyway,
George Clooney?
No, I think they would get...
That good-looking feller from ER?
Yeah. But no, Weber Ranch, really cool. Now, we are going to use this in a couple of our cocktails at Mexican Oak. And so obviously with Mexican Oak, one of the things we're trying to do is we're trying to lean into very, Mexican product. Oh, I know what you did there.
Yes.
What's that called?
ASMR.
That's terrible ASMR.
Vodka.
So
Tequila vodka.
So
No.
what? Yeah. So
Agave vodka.
that's what's really cool about this is kind of on brand with doing the Mexican restaurant as opposed to just pouring Tito's or another, local vodka. This is super cool because it's made. No thanks. It's made with agave. I haven't had a sip of that in about a year.
Yeah.
But no, it's really cool stuff. And so, kind of sticking with the
I like the label, clean label.
super good branding. But yeah, I wanted you guys to try it. We're using it in some of our cocktails. Again, it's an agave-based vodka, which is unique. So I'm curious what you guys think about it. Pretty excited to have it on there. It's different.
Delicious.
That's clean.
Yeah. Clean living.
clean.
Usually vodka can give you like a
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
but it's that's
kinda
pretty clean.
Head
Not bad.
shake it.
Yeah, not bad. Well,
I mean, it still smells like vodka. It doesn't smell like tequila,
Right.
which
You
is
guys-
interesting.
You guys know what's fascinating about vodka to me? You know that technically
That's good.
vodka is supposed to be flavorless and odorless? It's clearly not. You can.
Yeah, no, you can. There's
something.
a straight Sharpie smell to most of them.
Mine normally tastes like Red Bull.
Yeah.
Mine tastes like tonic with lime.
Yeah.
No, but anyway, so I just want to shout out to them. That's really cool. It's something that's going on our menu, and the way we're thinking about it is obviously that it's an agave-based deal. So kind of sticking with trying to be the Mexican theme.
Yeah.
But it's cool. Good brand.
Yeah, it's
really
awesome.
cool guys. We've met with them a couple times. Very cool. It's in Munster. Trying to support someone local. So
So when Mexican Oak opens,
Yeah.
get your butt in there and go grab a drink.
get you some Weber.
Get you
Weber
some
Ranch.
Weber Ranch. I'm sure there'll be some fancy name for that cocktail.
Oh yeah.
We'll find out.
We will find out. It will be cheeky. Okay, so getting back to it. So now you guys hopefully have a little bit more of that. We'll get you guys all lubed up and so we can talk through this. But we've been doing a lot of stuff over here. So in addition to opening the restaurants, it's starting to get hot. I think today is actually over 90, which is weird that it's so delayed. But we had 3 or 4 installs going today. It's getting busy, and that's a good thing for Caddie, for Caddie's customers, all that stuff. Like it's that time, and it's wild. Nick, about this. I mean, golly, it seems like every year, as being someone in the air conditioning business, you get to like April, May, and you get that itch. You're like, when's it going to hit 90? When's the overnight temp going to stay above 80? And when those things happen,
It goes from when's it going to get busy to, oh my gosh, it's kind of too busy and you're just trying to catch up.
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And we're in there right now.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt we're in there. And so one of the things is, Caddie is designed as a company to be there to support air conditioning businesses. And a couple things that we do, we're very focused on the F&I products, so the finance and insurance and warranties and things like that, because we have a fundamental belief that the industry, certainly if we're successful, but the industry is going to move to a more transparent model. And in doing so, much like the auto industry, and I'm not going to get into that whole thing, but what we've seen is that with industries that have moved to this model, it brings more competition and pricing on the front end because you have more transparency. So people are competing differently as opposed to getting someone in your house where you have no idea what to expect. You just know it's going to be expensive. And the same service, possibly even inferior service, but the same service is, could range from $8,000 to $25,000 upwards. And we keep seeing those quotes all the time.
Yeah.
So I think with transparency comes competition. With the competition, you got to get creative. If you're a company that's really trying to have staying power, you got to get creative with how you approach your business, and that's what Caddie's kind of designed to sit there and do is help people with the F&I side of this stuff. So, anyways, Caddie's whole thesis is help the industry, help contractors, help build companies. That's what we say. I think on some of my sites I say we build companies. That's what we do, and whether it's as a consultant or a partner or whatever, that's what we're here to do. Is we're here to help people have successful businesses, create good income, create good lifestyles, and so today we're here talking about kind of one of the things that we've been doing, and this is one of the cool things about working with us at Caddie. So we've got Matt here, and we're going to talk about what we're doing with Matt and a company that he's now working with us, and I think we need to get to that point. We should just take one retrospective look on kind of what we've done the past 12 months and where we're going, because I think it'll kind of help tell the story. Because we kind of get the weird, and we found ourselves in it too. We're in the weird position where we have this HVAC home supply business, right? And HVAC Home Supply started out for us as a test. So we were sitting here, maybe March of last year, April?
Yeah, maybe,
something like that.
February, something pretty.
Yeah.
Right before season.
Yeah. Well, we were sitting here, and Evan and I were talking about this, and we were like, you know what? Like, at this point, where we're at, we're running restaurants, we're running golf brands, we're running, all these other things, building houses and doing all this stuff. And
dog food.
God, don't get me started on dog food. That is a uphill battle right now. But we're doing all this stuff, and we might even we asked ourselves, we're like, are we more suited to like be advising on how to run a restaurant? Are we more, we need to get our feet wet and show these folks that like what we're saying and how we're consulting is true and you can do it. And so we started up HVAC Home Supply, and Home Supply started out like any other company. You start slow-ish, right? It's kind of hard to get out of the gate. No one knows. You, as a startup, you're sitting there going, what do I do? Like, what's the next step I do?
When's this going to take off?
Yeah. It's like we always laugh, Evan, like when we post a new site, it's like, we're going to post this website and it's going to have so much traffic and so much volume going through it. We're not going to know what to do. And then you post it and it's like, okay, we have one visitor.
Yeah. You always think everything's going to go viral the minute you click launch.
Yeah.
It's just not the way it works.
No. So what we did is we tried tested our tools, used our kind of, experience with running service companies, and we kicked this thing off. And we were pacing, we did over $1 million in sales through Home Supply from May to December, through December. And then, boy, we've hit an inflection point, and you guys have all seen it. It's, I think within the last, 4 months, we've done almost another $1 million in business. I think we're basically going to end the first 12 months right at $2 million in sales for Home Supply. Yeah. So that's a year one, 12 months, almost $2 million. But it was a great test for us, and that's how we think about this. Still running. We're still very proud of that site and what we're doing there. But again, it was a test for us, and so our vision and goal was to always. It was a way for us to prove that we still kind of had it and could do it, but our vision was help everyone else. And so what we're now doing is we still have that going, but we're refocused back on, how do we make the biggest impact and how do we help the most people, both consumers and contractors alike. And so we've got this new kind of, it's not new, but it's like we've tested it. Now we're going to share it with everyone, just like we do with the DIY warranty product, the workmanship guarantee. It's all about us learning and then just transparently sharing.
Yeah, I think the main thing to keep in mind for anybody watching, if you're a contractor, all of the products that we have on Caddie are primarily for contractors by contractors. That's kind of the thesis behind Caddie. It's like, would you have someone caddy for you that didn't know how to play golf or read a putt or anything like what? No, why would you do that? That'd be the worst caddy in the world, right?
Yeah.
So the whole point of Caddie is that we bring tools that we've either used in the past at like fixed and or fixed services and things that we're doing now. And so to your point, like the test with Home Supply, and just keeping in mind that the Home Supply's kind of thesis was taking kind of the contractor commerce online, right? Using e-commerce to drive HVAC, because every other product in 2025 is doing that. And so why is air conditioning not there yet? And, there's a few. Contractor Commerce is an actual company. They're taking people's, companies online. And this is just another tool in the Caddie bag to do the same thing, right? So if a contractor wants to get their pricing online, I can tell you part of our test was SEO driven. So to see what does it do for SEO? What does it do for ads? How does that work and impact the company? And obviously it plays really well because, again, most contractors and the most experiences for homeowners is you call a company out and then they write you up a quote, or they've got a price book, digital price book that they generate a quote while they're at the house, and you've got A, B, C, D, E, F options, and then there's the financing options, and then there's all the other stuff that goes with it. And this is Home Supply was really a test on, okay, can we create a HVAC commerce business, using some of the tools and experiences that we've developed over doing some other businesses. And so that's what we did, and it ended up working out really well. And now it's another tool in the Caddie bag to help other contractors out. And I think kind of where you were going just before I started talking was that it also is kind of drives the price down, so to speak, to homeowners. So it helps everybody, right? The installers are making more money. The homeowners are saving money. And so it's kind of a win-win situation, and it just flips the sales process a little bit, which is interesting.
Yeah, it really shouldn't require the whole sales process that we've kind of come to know and expect, which is really, really bad and old and antiquated and all that stuff. And but yeah, it is. And we're not leaving contractors out there to hang, right? Like we're that's why we have tools like the workmanship guarantee. It's why we have the performance-based warranty product. It's why we're working with contractors on their marketing, and so that they can understand that, look, this ad budget can result in this if you have a compelling message. One of the things we found is a lot of contractors just don't have a message to tell because it's so standardized. And so as a consumer, you see that and you're like, I don't understand what's different about this guy than this guy than this guy. And the truth is a lot of them are very similar. And so we help them try to like storytell, and the storytelling isn't like creating a fiction novel, right? It's tell them what you're about. What are your principles? What are your values? If you're a higher priced contractor, why are you higher priced? Are you providing some superior service, or are you contributing back to the community in which you're involved in? Like how are you, those things are very important to tell. So we're not leaving contractors out. We're actually showing them the way to make more money through different ways than just gross margin off of just a sell. And that's what we're doing. So here we are. We're a year in. I think we just actually wrapped a year in May. So, I mean, we're literally 2 days into finishing our first year at Home Supply. And what we've been working on in parallel with the Home Supply business is how do we now go take what we've learned and make it, more widely available to folks. And so we have what we internally call microsites. And what microsites do, they allow people who want to get into the air conditioning business to get into the air conditioning business as a retailer. Now, we get a ton of comments on like Home Supply's postings like that. Well, that's illegal. That's whatever. No, it's not.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's there. Walmart retails air conditioners. Costco does it. Grainger does it. Like all these companies retail air conditioners. I mean, you've seen Mr. Cool make a massive impact. And we'll have another episode where we get into Mr. Cool and some of the other brands and what's going on, because there's some really, really cool stuff going on in the space. And there are some people that I admire, some companies that I truly admire and frankly want to replicate some of the stuff they're doing because they're doing it so well. Or partner with them because there's the right way in which the industry is moving. And obviously, Nick, you've been very involved with kind of looking at the sourcing and where things are coming from. And that's a whole nother longer podcast. But there's a lot of stuff that we have certainly become more aware of. And there's a lot of people that we have found in this kind of search for, I guess we're seeking to understand the industry all the way through. And it's been wild. So what we've done is we have figured out a way to, and it's not like we're rocket scientists. We just figured out that you can retail this stuff, so long as it's the work that's being done is performed by a licensed contractor. Then there's no issues with retailing. This is kind of some of the stuff we were working on at Angie a little bit as well. Was how do you can you source stuff and then connect people to get the installation services? And a lot of trades work this way. I mean, you can go buy a water heater, at Home Depot, and technically you can put it in yourself most of the time. But if you're going to get it installed, you got to have it installed by a licensed plumber. And there's really no difference in the air conditioning. Now, people will say things around like refrigerant, things like that, and there are EPA rules around some of this stuff. But if you're buying a system from an e-retailer that comes charged, you're okay to buy that. There's no issues with that. And so in knowing that and finding that, opportunity, what we have figured out a way to do is to bring more people into the space, which obviously does help with the competition side for the consumer. And again, it's going to obviously impact the contractors. However, like I said, we're working with contractors to give them solutions to be more competitive in this environment as well. And so here we are. We've done one microsite, we're calling it, with Home Supply. I think we're launching, 10 or so right now. I think we've got 5 active in the last 2 months, and we've got 10 more, and we're going to continue to kind of build those sites out. But one of the sites we have that we want to talk about today is Park Cities.
Yeah.
Not Park City, as the people from Flower Mound say.
No, Park Cities.
Park Cities
HVAC.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So Matt is now the owner and operator of Park Cities HVAC.
Let's go.
Yeah. So Matt, besides being, like one of our best friends, roommates in college, all that stuff, Matt has spent basically over a year now, right? Over a year, and been involved for longer than that with some of the stuff we're working on, but has spent over a year learning the air conditioning space inside and out. What a wild transition. Tell us about like your background real quick and how you got into this and how wild this is.
It is very wild. Definitely not a HVAC guy in the beginning, but have learned a lot over the last year plus. And so I'm a physical therapist. I started in the medical field about 15 years ago. I've been seeing patients for the last 15 years, been on the management side, the recruiting side, the billing side, revenue cycle management side, kind of all of the above in the PT space in the medical field. And what more could a guy ask for than to jump into air conditioning right after that? So that's my path, and a few other little side deals with restaurants and stuff like that with you guys. But yeah, so I'm officially all in on Park Cities HVAC and couldn't be more excited about it. Been going through, LLC startup, website creation, socials, getting up and running,
verifying Google accounts. Jeez.
Yeah.
Come on,
Very
Google.
frustrating.
Come on, Google.
But yeah, we finally got it all up and running, and we're live, and so just in time for the summer. So
yeah,
got some ads popping.
Oh yeah, got some ads
showing
going
up on the
right
top
now.
of the list, which is good.
Yeah, officially going. So very excited to get this up and running. Completed our first job last week, and now out there networking and looking for more.
Yeah, it's that's one of the things that Evan and I are super passionate about. Is we love entrepreneurship. We love people building their own opportunities, but helping support them in their opportunities to do some of this stuff. And we think that the world's a much better place with a lot of entrepreneurial mindset people versus people that just kind of go through the motions every day. And I think so many of us sit there and find ourselves in that kind of routine often, where it's like, is this really what I want to be doing? I really want to be my own boss. How do I do it? I mean, how many people do you have? And I hear all the time, like, hey, how do you do it, Evan? I want to go be my own boss.
You just got to go do it. It's like,
you got to do it.
Like starting the company stuff that's a great example. Just bouncing back to that for a second, where it's like, you saw it firsthand because we kind of walked through it together and getting everything set up. There's a lot of boxes to check. It's not.
Oh my!
It's
way
not,
more than I anticipated.
Yeah, people think it's like, okay, buy the domain and then register with the state, and then get your EIN and you're done. But it's not. If you do it right, if you're going to do, start a business the right way, there's a lot of boxes to check. And so, I mean, we've got our checklist for each microsite that we've got, and there's, I don't know how many columns are on that thing, but there's a lot of them, and there's a lot of stuff to get going and get set up. And so it's somewhat time consuming, but it's good to see. And I think that's usually one of the biggest jumping off points is, there's a inside joke with one of my friends, and it's like, he works for a company, and one night we're at my house and he was just like, I'm tired of working for people. And my wife goes, well, Nick, just start your own company. He goes, well, that'd be great if I had an idea. It's like, so it's like, I think especially after COVID, you talk about gig economy, all that stuff kind of happens. And then it's, people want to be their own boss. They want to make their own hours. They want to earn their own wage. They want to be in control. And there's, starting your own company is not as easy as it sounds. And you do have to kind of have an idea, and you've got to be able to execute on it. But, that's kind of what we're here for, right? We help speed that process up. So I think hopefully it was a pretty good experience. Usually, I think if you were to go through that stuff, some of those steps on your own, you'd be doing a lot of ChatGPT and a lot of Googling and stuff, but it's, we expedite it, right? So it's just boom, 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 and then it goes, right?
Yeah. You guys were able to check all the boxes that I didn't even know needed to be checked. So extremely helpful getting started up.
Well, that's what we're here to do. I mean, our whole goal with Caddie and everything that we're trying to build here is to support people doing exactly what you're doing. So it's been a lot of fun spending a year getting you trained, getting you understanding air conditioning, kind of, from the medical field to air conditioning has been quite an interesting journey. But now you know, and you've got to be part of the conversations with how we think about things and kind of some of the archaic ways the air conditioning industry has worked historically. You're kind of seeing some of the stuff that's moving more quickly as it's kind of evolving, which I'm super excited about. I think we would all agree. Like, there are OEMs that people don't realize that are getting very, very close to the customer, and I would argue they're even actually providing the same things. They're providing quotes to consumers directly, and they're retailing stuff. And I mean, these are some of the big boys. These are some of the big OEMs, and I'm not going to go into naming exactly who they are, but these are big brands that we're all aware of. So the industry is moving there. So don't move in the industry with your eyes closed. Open them, look around what's going on. This is where it's going. Yep. And we're here to help you with that. And if not us, find someone that can kind of help and think a little bit differently. But one of the things that we get in this also, I want to go over is, going back to the whole thing of this is like, not allowed or whatever. What people don't realize is that there are a lot of contractors out there that are willing to do this work. And once a contractor gets their mindset, it's like contractors that work for home warranty companies. When you have extra capacity in your business, you should always be taking on more workload, in my opinion. If you're, at a point where you don't have like burnout with your employees and things like that, but you actually do have true capacity, then I think personally that as long as you can bring business in that is at a good margin and you can fill time and be more efficient, you're golden. And that's how this thing works. So contractors that are listening to this, I understand that the retail price point at which you might be out there charging for your services might be at X, but I encourage you to look at doing stuff at Y to fill your capacity. And that's how this works, right? So you can join the Caddie network, and part of that is that you can start actually getting some of these jobs that we're out there promoting. The hardest part of building this business, in my opinion, outside of the startup stuff, is customer acquisition. That's what we're trying to help with. We're trying to go acquire the customer by being transparent, all the things we've talked about. And then ultimately we're trying to turn around and then marketplace it effectively or ship it out to a contractor that has capacity. Now, there are contracting companies that we are involved with in order to help facilitate these. And so when we do an install, for example, the odds are most likely that it's going to roll over to one of our Caddie contractors or one of our companies.
Yeah. Yeah.
Full disclosure. And
in most cases, I think what contractors know this, but consumers, if they're watching this, don't understand is that it's very seldom that Joe shows up at your door, gives you a quote, and Joe is doing the installation, right? I mean, you ran your own company. You can do them. I know you did a couple of them, right?
Yeah,
but
I didn't do them.
it's like, but that's not your normal.
Right.
That's not the process. Joe sends two other guys.
Yep.
And those two guys can knock it out in 3-4 hours, something like that.
Yep.
And then it's done, and they do it quick, and that's their skill, that's their trade, that's their specialty, right?
Yep.
And so there's very rarely, and especially, a lot of the people that leave the comments with us and stuff, I would say, okay, well, are you doing your own installations? And
yeah,
you're getting frustrated with our price point, but we're able to pay our crews and our technicians more than what those guys are typically paying.
Yep.
Because we don't have the overhead, we don't have 50 wrap trucks, we don't have the giant warehouses.
That's exactly right.
We're not buying, truckloads of inventory and then doing an inventory closeout in the wintertime. I mean, it's just, we're thinking about it in a different way and encouraging other contractors to do the same because, again, going back to it, not only can, as Matt, as the owner of Park Cities, but you can help, the crews that are doing the installations make more money. So now, they have their own company, they're doing their own installations, and instead of getting, $25 an hour or whatever standard is for installers, they can make
a ton more.
A lot more. I don't know the exact hourly. I know what we pay flat, but I don't know the hourly, what that translates to hours, but
a significant amount
that's
more.
A lot. It's way more.
A multitude more.
Yeah. So if your specialty is installation, this is a lot better for you.
Yeah.
What we're doing. And if you're a business owner, this is a lot better for you. And you don't have the overhead and you don't have to lay everybody off every season. And it's just the process itself, I think, is way cleaner than what exists. Because I mean, when we were at Fixed, you have to find either you're like hanging Christmas lights in the wintertime, or you're telling 30 guys like, hey, sorry, you got to lay off until next summer, come back. And half of them are going to come back, half aren't, right? And that's just the cycle, which sucks. And so letting these guys make a lot more money that they can now, and then they can, do whatever with it throughout the year.
That's exactly right. Like it's fascinating to me because the way that it works, for those consumers that are listening, is you're basically overcharging. I'm going to say overcharging, but you are charging so much now, and then you're escrowing that money as a company for these technicians. If you're a really good company, through the winter and the fall and all
to not lay them off.
To not lay them off, right? Yeah. And I think that there's two things that happen there. One, as a technician, I don't see that. I don't think about 3 months from now, 6 months from now, 8 months from now. I see, wow, you just charged $20,000 to that homeowner. I got paid $150 to install the system. Yeah. What is going on?
Yeah.
And so you have on the one hand, you have technicians that are a little bit frustrated with that when they have visibility to that, and on the other hand, you're kind of inefficient as a company, right? And so what we have done is we're like, get all the money out, clearing house it out right now, get everyone paid as much as they can, let them escrow their own money and be in control of their own finances, and run this thing like on a true unit economic basis where you're saying, job sells for this, job costs this, all money goes out, and then whatever is actually left over is our money to operate the company, right? And we're not having to carry these massive staffs. In fact, I would say, like I said, we're young right now, but with all of our microsites and home supply and what we're doing, we're a mid-size, small to mid-size company in DFW. I think in 3 years we'll be a large entity, very large entity. We're just doing it different. And so, Matt, we're super, super pumped. Like, so you're off and running, and everything's set up, and you had your first job, and it's hard for us to do what you're doing because you're going to be so local, and that's another thing that I want to talk about with these microsites. Like, if you're someone that's very active in your community, very involved, and you're at a job where you're thinking, I'd like to be my own boss, you might be a good candidate for something like this.
Or hey, maybe I want a little side sauce.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing that says you can't promote and be a business owner. I mean, maybe your contract with your company says that, but like, depending on what your job is, right? Or, there's a lot of, stay-at-home moms or, people that want to have something that they can do, but that doesn't require the strict 40 hours a week, right?
The 8 to 5, whatever.
You don't have to be in the office, and that's, I mean, we do battle that at home, right? It's like, okay, well, the kids are going to be in school from X time to X time. Summertime right now is a cluster, right? Yeah. What do you do with the kids during the summertime? So it's like, it's a great opportunity for someone that is a stay-at-home parent that is looking for something that's, I would say has to be super aggressive and social and, outgoing and willing to kind of, take the jump. Again, we're here to help get you started. Yeah. But then it's, kind of in your hands in order to execute on it after that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's one of it's solving for another thing that I have a problem with. And I think we've all experienced this. What I don't like doing, well, let me back up. What I think is valuable, the reason you shop small, the reason you shop local, the reason you do that is because you're supporting someone locally, and you're hoping, at least I am, that in some way that locality and the fact they're my neighbor, I'm going to get like honest, fair service. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And I think, Nick, you could probably relate to this from past experiences of places you've worked. Like, some people actually try to gouge their neighbors. And I've always had an issue with that. Like, when you sit in church with someone, I'm the air conditioning guy, you need an air conditioner, we're sitting there, we're doing our thing, and then we walk out and I give you a bid for something that's got $15,000 of gross profit built into it. It's kind of wrong.
Definitely wrong. I can think of a line that I've heard: if you can't make money off your friends, how am I supposed to make them off my enemies, is what my old boss would say. And it's like, dude, that's your neighbor. Come on now.
Well, that's what happens too often. I feel like you create this network, and people buy, they believe in you because you're a neighbor, and then it doesn't happen that way. So with these, what's really cool about it is we're trying to do things so efficiently that Matt, as Park Cities HVAC, you're able to actually go provide a product to your neighbors that is very good quality at an incredible price.
Absolutely. And that's one thing, I mean, over the last year with HVAC Home Supply, I didn't understand the price differences that were out there. I mean, the transparency obviously is lacking substantially. And, talking through with customers and learning that they get quotes for over double what we would charge is just mind-blowing and, shouldn't happen. So very excited to get this thing up and running, and really excited. It makes my job easy doing what we do, and I feel good about it. I'm bringing a much better deal to my friends. So
I love hearing that. Like that's what it's about. Like you got to have pride in what you're out there doing. You got to believe in it, and it's like whether it's the restaurants or this, like what we're going to get behind and help support, we're going to give the best experience that we can to you, and therefore you to your customers, and that's what it's all about, and that makes us local, and that makes us good neighbors and good people. Like that's what we're trying to do. So, yeah, we just wanted to hop on here and kind of explain how this works, and we're super excited.
Absolutely,
Matt. What was the hardest part so far?
Google Ads?
No,
not really.
No, Google's the easy one. Getting the Meta accounts fixed.
Oh God.
One of our Meta accounts got shut down.
Yeah, we had to.
The original one. I'm not sure how. Somehow
got
created. It got red flagged, and then that's a whole process. But
no, I think it's just the entire process. You talk about check boxes that are checked. If there's 20 or 400 check boxes, you got to get through every one of them to make sure you're set up and appropriately ran and efficiently ran. And so feeling comfortable and making sure that I had all those boxes checked, that I understood what each one meant, and feeling confident that we would be successful and doing the right thing in a lot of situations. I think that getting my head wrapped around that was kind of the longest part that I didn't think would take that long. But I mean, now that we're going, it's I'm excited. It's getting ready to go.
Yeah, and I think it's important to call out like what you get as part of the package. I think that's probably, we haven't really mentioned it, and it's probably pretty important because I know this guy's been spending a lot of time on part of that process. Yeah. But you're getting as a microsite owner, you're getting a full e-commerce air conditioning company, basically localized, like you mentioned. You're local to Park Cities area, North Dallas. You're getting it localized. The e-commerce platform with
500 plus products.
500. I was going to say, I'm just trying to do the math. 100. 600, 700 products on it. That's all. That takes a lot of time to get AHRI matchups and the pricing correct from from our wholesalers, and then get it converted over, and then get it into our platform, and then get it out there, and getting the images and the descriptions. Like all that stuff is very time consuming, and so it's kind of cool because we're able to like fast forward, like technically speaking, from start to finish, minus the Meta hiccup, right? Minus the Meta hiccup, it's like 2 weeks, right? Like two and a half weeks. You've got a fully fledged air conditioning e-commerce company right up and running, and you've sold one, right?
Yeah, I know.
It's kind of when you back out and think about it.
Awesome.
It's pretty wild.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
It is awesome.
And premium brands. It's not like, I won't say brands to throw them on the table, but it's not like you're getting some no-name brands out there. You're getting
Chinese stuff or anything.
Hey, easy on my homies.
Yeah. You're getting premium brands, and so you're able to go out and sell premium brands at way more affordable prices with expert level installation.
Yeah, which I think there's one other very important thing you're getting that I want to make sure is also known is you're getting the whole back office support of these contracting companies that have been vetted, that have been worked with, that do high quality installations as part of this. So when you are out there promoting these products through Meta, through Google Ads, through whatever channel you are, you can do it with the confidence that you have this back office support that is going out there and making sure that they show up to the job, they look professional, they know what they're talking about. And the guys we have, boy, my mentality has changed from the days when we ran the big company. These guys are good. And I used to use that whole, you said cheap Chinese thing. And I think that's hilarious because that is such an overused deal that we'll peel the layers back.
That's an
on
inside
that
joke.
Yeah, it is.
So everybody knows.
Yeah. No, I think that what's I used to think was like almost our response to this was Chuck in a truck, right? The small guy, blah, blah, blah. And like, I used to be like, well, yeah, it's Chuck in a truck. Like you may never hear from him again, whatever. No, the reality of it is these guys are busting their asses every day doing installs every single day, and they are great at it. So my whole like thing has changed from, my perspective has changed from, okay, Chuck in a truck, nah, to Chuck in a truck. Dude knows what he's doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, just because you're paying $20,000 doesn't mean you're going to get a good install. And like with
And
Park
just because they can
Cities,
do it tomorrow.
right. Well, our turnaround time is great too.
Yeah.
That's kind of the whole.
I'm just saying that's what you hear from some of these customers on like the big company. Why'd they go with the big? Well, you know, they said they could get out tomorrow and do it.
It's like, you must be in a good
Like,
spot.
yeah,
if you spend
And then they don't.
$10,000.
Wasting money.
Well, and the quality of those installs, we've lived this. So in full, transparency as our whole thing is, when you have a big company with 400 technicians and you're growing really quickly, your quality control can suffer. And don't kid yourself. Any of these companies that have huge, like networks of people, not networks, but huge bases of employees that are doing this, a lot of the times what you're getting, and we've seen it like at my house, for example, we just went out and reviewed like how my system was designed and the quality it was put in. It was put in, the people that had my house before me installed a system, 3 systems, and the systems are absolute garbage. Like the systems are great from the manufacturers. The install quality is
Terrible.
Terrible. Terrible.
Just terrible.
Would never pass our QC standards or even close to what we do. And so, or what our folks do. And so it's like wild because this is the big company that everyone knows in DFW that put these 3 in. Who knows what the people before me paid for this stuff, but the quality's awful. And we've lived that world too, where it's like quality control becomes really hard when you get really, really big. And so empowering all the Chuck in the trucks, as they call them, who I'm now like want to call something else that's like a little bit less derogative, is where you get the great quality. And what we've also come to, we knew this, but we've come to like learn and want to tell everybody is like, when you have someone installing stuff in your house, you want someone that does it every single day, that knows the ins and the outs. Yeah. You don't want someone that might work on it once every 2 weeks, right? And as technicians, which I've employed a lot of them. You've been one. You've employed them. There is truly a different skill set. I'm not saying the technician can't install a system. They can, and most of them can do it beautifully. The reality of it is, though, the way air conditioning companies are structured, those technicians almost never do the installs. And at my house, I don't want someone that does installs every so often. I want someone that does it every day, that knows what they're doing. I want someone on that assembly line that knows where to put the screw every single time.
You want the Chuck that's just doing installs every day.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's the Chuck you want in your truck.
That's right. Yeah. That's exactly what I want.
Yeah.
And so that's what we're trying to do. We're empowering these guys. So if you are a Chuck in a truck, which by the way, start taking pride in that. Like take pride in that term. Forget it being a negative connotation. If you're a Chuck in the truck, yes, call us.
Yeah.
Call us. Get involved with our network. Like we want to help. And then ultimately, long term, I'll leave it with this. Our goal is to just bridge everybody. We want license holding contracting company, bridged with consumer, bridged with Chuck in a truck to do the installs. Let's package this all together beautifully so that the consumer wins, the contractor's more efficient, they win, and then Chuck in the truck is winning as well because they're making a little bit more. And all it takes is rebalancing how that flow of funds goes, because it should all just be appropriately tied. And I think we've solved for that. And I'm super excited. And I'm super excited for you, Matt.
Thank you.
I am
too.
Yeah. Yeah. Giving the power back local. I mean, why not? Just
neighbors helping neighbors.
Yeah. People helping people.
Just
One
like
more
us.
shout out to Park Cities
HVAC.
HVAC.com.
Didn't want to say pedals.
No. Great flowers, though. If you need some flowers, Park Cities Petals. Yeah.
No, and want to give a shout out, speaking of neighbors, to Weber Ranch again. Like that very cool local story. Local. Here we are. Guys, thanks for sitting down and going over this for a bit.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's great.
Love it.
Matt, get out there and let's sell some air conditioners.
Let's
now, you know
sell
what I mean?
some air conditioners. It's getting hot.
It's getting hot. Today was the first day. Got in my car. It was already sweating. So you know it's getting hot.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Oh, yeah.
it.
Need to get the sunscreens
Yeah.
for the windshield.
That's right. That's right.
All right. See you guys.
Bye. Bye.
Till next time.